Let me tell you something. It can be really hard to decide what to do with your life, especially when you are young and just making your way into life. With all the information popping up at you from different angles, everywhere you look on the internet is somebody telling you how you can make money doing this or how you can make money doing that. So many young people, even some older ones, are just so confused. And it's not really something that you can easily outsmart at that point, because in my experience, the smarter you are, the more talented you are, the more abilities you have, the more choices you have as well. And knowing that with your capabilities, you can excel in any chosen field makes the choice of which one to pursue a much more difficult one. Deciding which one to pick and focus on while letting go of the others can be a real headache. And for some of you that will say, oh, I guess I'll just go ahead and do everything then. That is a different kind of worms that I'll talk about in another video. But the bottom line is, you really shouldn't do that. Fortunately for everyone, there's a way to decide which option to follow and pursue, and I'll tell you all about it. But first, in case you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Kezie. I am a growth enthusiast. I'm all about helping you grow and succeed, and also growing with you in your personal, professional, and business life. On this channel, we'll talk a lot about personal development, business growth, financial intelligence, organizational leadership, and pretty much everything that builds people and systems. You can check out the videos here on the channel, and if this is the kind of space that you'd like to be a part of, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also like the video and help me spread this message to someone else that needs it. Thank you, and now let's learn together. So, if you're someone who is faced with many career choices and you are finding it hard to decide which one to pursue, don't worry, you're not alone. There are so many people who are going through the same challenges as you are. And there are so many other people who already went through that process but came out great at the end of the day. Some of them might have spent a lot of time and resources to eventually figure out which choice to go with. But the solution I have for you today will save you that time, energy, and resources and make your decision a much faster and easier one. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to pick a pen and a paper, or you can pick a bigger screen like mine, just something that you can write with. Then I want you to do this exercise with me, okay? First, I want you to list out those career choices. So we'll have choices. For this example, we are going to use 3 career choices. One will be blogging. 2 will be, say, software engineering. 3, teaching. Okay, so you can have more than these choices. I'm only using these 3 for this example, but you can have as many choices that are facing you. Now, after these choices, we are going to list what we call parameters. You can call them attributes, you can call them determinants, whatever you call them. The important thing is what they do. Now, what these parameters are the attributes or the units of measure with which you are using to decide the merits of each of these choices, right? For instance, say, okay, let's list the parameters. So an example of a parameter can be money. How does this reflect as a parameter? In choosing any of these options that we've mentioned above, you are going to be thinking about which one pays the most, which one pays the fastest, which one is going to eventually pay the biggest amount, and which one is going to require much more money from you before it starts to pay. So these are the things that you are going to consider, basically the overall financial implication of that choice. And that is what the money stands for in terms of the parameters. And then 2, we are going to have skill. This is basically which one can you do at the moment, and even if you cannot do it, what is it going to take for you to learn how to do it? For instance, if you are choosing to be a software engineer, of course you have to know how to code or something like that, and that is the skill. So you are looking at all of them and which ones do you have the skill, which one are you able to execute on, and even if you don't have the skill now, what is it going to take for you to acquire that skill? Next, we are going to consider passion. So passion, just the way that I explained skill, is basically the one that you have the burning desire for. You know, of all the choices that you have on the board, you probably have one that is actually the one that your heart is burning for. You probably have passion for it, but due to certain circumstances, you are just doubting whether that should be what you should go for or not. And that is where the passion comes in. Now, you can list as many parameters as you want. There are so many parameters. Some of the parameters may include something like time. How much of your time does it consume on a daily basis, on a monthly, weekly, and so on basis? Like complexity, how difficult is the job to do? What do you need to engage in order to do it? Environmental factors, and so on. But for this particular exercise, we are going to use 4 parameters. I've already listed money, skill, and passion. The 4th one we are going to use is something I like to call legacy. Now, what is legacy? Legacy or heritage is something that has been in your family. Maybe something that your great-grandfather was or did, and then your grandfather did it as well, and then your dad did it or is doing it at the moment as well, and then your uncles did it or are doing it, and now it kind of falls on you to do it as well. That is legacy or heritage. There are so many things you can call it so long as you understand the actual meaning behind it. So now we've listed our choices and our parameters. And with this information that we have here, we are going to construct something that I like to call a career matrix, or you can call it a career choice matrix. So we are going to have a table, and for that table, we are going to have the columns represent the choices and the rows represent the parameters. You can still flip it the other way, having the rows represent the choices and the columns represent the parameters. Either way you do it, it will still give you the same result if you do it right. So let's go ahead and do the table. So to draw our table, okay, so now we have a table. So here we are going to list out our choices. So here we have blogging. Then here we have software engineering. Then here we have teaching. Right? Then here we are going to list out these are parameters. So we have money, then we have skill, then we have passion, then we have legacy. This last row, we are going to leave it empty for now. We are still going to make use of it, as you will see as we keep doing the exercise. At this point, this is the information that we have on ground, and we are going to use this information to determine which of these choices is the most advantageous to the person in our example. So what we are going to do in each of these cells is that we are going to give a rating between 0 and 10. You can also do between 0 and 100, however you like it. The only thing is just let the rating represent the actual advantage or disadvantage of the career choice. So what we are going to do is we will come to each cell and we will give a rating for the career choice based on the parameter. For instance, we will come here to blogging and we will give a rating of how much money there is in blogging between 0 to 10, and we will put that rating in this cell. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the rest of the cells. Okay, stay with me. First, blogging. The person is going to look at it from different angles. One is how much money can the person make from blogging for a start? What is the maximum amount of money the person can make from blogging? How soon can the person start making money from blogging? And also, how much money does the person need to spend before he or she starts to make that money from blogging? So the individual in our example is looking at blogging like this. Blogging is likely not going to pay him immediately because first, he's going to set up the website, he's going to get the SEO up, he's going to have to publish a good number of times before he actually builds up the blog in such a way that the blog can earn. So earning fast is out of the equation. Secondly, how much can he earn at the beginning? Well, given the fact that blogging is not something that you can actually determine exactly how much you are going to earn from the beginning, is all based on the revenues and everything that comes in. There is no particular amount that he can state. It can come high, it can come low. You cannot give a very reliable number on it. Then also, you talk about how much money does he have to spend before he starts to make money from it. He's looking at it from the angle of he has to get someone to design the website for him because he doesn't know how to design a website. He has to pay for the domain, he has to pay for the hosting, he has to pay for all those things that he needs to get to set up first, and so on and so forth. So to him, it's a career choice that requires a lot of money from him, but doesn't pay early enough, and you cannot really determine how much you are going to earn and when you are going to start earning it just like that. However, there is potential in it if it really grows and if it really does well. But the person in our example is also afraid that with the advent of AI, blogs might no longer make as much money as they used to make before. So on overall, he's thinking like, when it comes to money, blogging is not such a good idea. So he's going to give it just a rating of 4. Now, software engineering, what's the deal with it and money? So software engineering is a very well-paying career choice. If you have the requisite skills, you can get a good job or you can work as a freelancer, but you can make a good amount of money from it. How soon you can make money from it depends on the skills that you have currently. The person in our example doesn't really have any software engineering skills. He has basic HTML skills, but just basic, but he's not really grounded in software engineering. So he's going to have to spend some money to train. Also, he might not need to spend that much money to train. He can go on YouTube, watch some videos, learn, and upgrade from there. And even if he goes to learn online from any of the reputable education platforms, it might not be really so expensive for him as compared to what he has to spend on blogging. So he's looking at it from the point of view that software engineering is good, it's going to pay well, and it's not going to cost him so much to start. So he's going to give it a rating of 7. Then finally, teaching. When it comes to money, the person in our example is already a graduate and all that. He doesn't have to spend any extra money to get the job as a teacher, and once he gets the job, he will start getting paid. However, the money he's going to be getting is not going to be that much at the moment. Maybe in time, he can expand the teaching something into like maybe go on YouTube, maybe do talks, do like coaching and all that. But for the moment, the money is not looking so good in terms of how much he's going to get paid. But there are opportunities. So he's going to go ahead and give teaching, say 5.5. After all, he doesn't really have to spend money on it before he starts earning from that. So we come to skill. When it comes to blogging, our character knows he can write very well. He can come up with good compositions and he understands basic computer literacy. However, he's not so used to managing websites or content managers, and he doesn't really like spending hours typing away like that. But it's not so bad for him. So we are going to go ahead and give it just a 6. For software engineering, our character is a complete novice in that field. The only thing he understands like basic HTML and stuff like that, but he doesn't really need that one. So we are just going to go ahead and give it a 2. Then for teaching, the person in our example is a natural. Teaching is something that he knows very well how to do, even though he has not been really teaching in formal settings, but he's very good at that. Because he has not done it in a formal setting before, we are going to go ahead and give it just a 7. We now come to passion. When it comes to passion, he or she loves writing, but that's about it. Just composing the articles, he's good with that. That doesn't mean that he has so much passion for blogging as a thing. So we are going to go and give it 5.5. As for software engineering, he doesn't really have any passion for that. The main reason why he's interested in going for the software engineering is just because of the money and everything that he has heard about where the future is going. So we are going to go ahead and give it another 2 again for passion when it comes to software engineering. Now, teaching is something that our character loves. The person in our example absolutely loves teaching. In fact, it's a hobby of his. He just loves to share knowledge with people. So we are going to go ahead and give it another 7 when it comes to this. To our final point, we come to legacy. That's the final parameter. Like I explained before, you know what legacy is. Maybe something that your father did, your mother did, and then it kind of falls on you to also try and do something like that as well. So as for blogging, nobody in their family has been blogging before, or even a journalist or something like that. I think we're just going to give it a 1. For software engineering, now there is no software engineer in their family. In fact, there has never been a software engineer. However, his dad was an engineer. His great-grandfather and his grandfather were not engineers, but his dad was, and his dad is kind of hoping that he will become an engineer too. And that's why he's considering software engineering. It's different from what his dad studied, but at least it will be the same engineering as well. So since it's not exactly what his dad studied, and it's not like something that has been in family for generations, we are just going to go ahead and give it a 5.5. On the issue of teaching, to say he doesn't have a current family member that is a teacher, but his mom wanted to be a teacher when she was young, but for certain reasons she couldn't do that. Now he's kind of feeling that if he becomes a teacher, he will be kind of helping his mom fulfill her wishes through him. So we are going to give it, let's say, a 6. So now we've attributed these ratings to these choices based on these parameters. And we are going to use these ratings to decide which one has the most advantage for him. So what we are going to do is that we are going to sum the ratings. So let's say 4 plus 6 plus 5.5 plus 1. So we are going to be having 16.5. So here we have 7 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5.5. So this should be 16.5 as well. And here we have 5.5 plus 7 plus 7 plus 6. So we have 25.5. I hope my calculations are right. So this is what we have. If you look at these total sums, you can see that the teaching represents more of a totality of the parameters that the person has used to examine the choices. And going by this, the teaching will be the best option for the person. So it is just simple like this. If you can do this, you can list as many parameters as you want, and you can list as many choices as you want, but you have to be sincere with yourself in doing these ratings so that you will get a really good answer. Now, the figures represented here are not universal. I'm just pulling some ratings out of my heart and putting it here. This is just an example that we are giving here. So you have to work with your own reality, provide accurate numbers, accurate ratings, so that you can get a really reliable result. Okay, I hope it's very understood. And if you're one of the people who are saying, well, that doesn't work for me, maybe you tried it out, but the result it gave you, you didn't like, which means that you already had a result in mind. So this is not for you in that case. See, if you already have a preferred career choice, this is not for you. Because no matter what calculations you do, at the end of the day, you will still want to do that one that your heart is already set to, or that your mind has already convinced you that you should go with. This is for the people who are completely confused on what to do. They don't know which one to pick for real, and they are trying to make that decision. So instead of writing out the choices on paper, folding them up and then throwing them out, and then trying to pick one with your eyes closed like I used to do those days, you can actually do these calculations to find out which one is more favorable for you given the parameters that you are using to make that decision. The parameters are yours to decide. You know what you are using the most as determinants to make your decision. And so guys, that's it. It's a very quick one, a very simple one to do. You can easily do it on a piece of paper and pen and figure out the answer that is right for you. And like I said before, if you already have a choice in mind, this is not for you. This is for people who are completely confused so that they can work things out. If you already have a choice in mind, just go ahead and do the one that is in your mind. And then another thing I have to let you know is this. Talent, passion, skill, those are not permanent parameters. In fact, there is hardly any permanent parameter. What I mean by that is this. If you work really attentively and for a really long time at something, there is every likelihood that you are going to start developing passion for that thing. And of course, you will develop the skills as you do that thing as well. So these are not things that you should have yourself hung up on. People will say things like, I am not a talented dancer. Maybe, but I can guarantee you that if you start dancing every day, eventually you will become a really good dancer. It might not happen in a month, it might not happen in a year, it might not happen in 5 years, but eventually you will become a really good dancer. That is just how things work. And you will then develop so much passion for it that you will not even know how you didn't have passion for it in the first place. And I'm trying to let you know that if eventually you pick a career from the career choice matrix, just like we did now, even if it doesn't seem like something that you would enjoy now, something that you'll be passionate about now, trust me, by the time you do it for a long time, consistently, you will start to enjoy it. Just pay attention to it, do it consistently. Before you know it, you will be loving it so much that you wouldn't even know that you never loved it before. And so guys, I hope that this video has helped or will help you in your future endeavors, or that it helps someone around you and that it helps them to grow and to develop and to succeed and to become a better person overall and become a utility to society. And so if you enjoyed the video, you already know what to do. You don't need me to keep repeating this thing all the time. But still, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and do the rest. You know what to do. And more videos will be coming your way soon. Let's grow together.